Hey everyone, and welcome back to BMX News, a live weekly BMX news show that starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday, where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. That being said, like I said, we do this live, so there is a bunch of people in the chat that I want to shout out real quick before we get into the news. Travis Keir, Jeff Mead, Noah McBride, Travis Schramm, the Travis crew. Hut Karinsky's in the chat. Thank you for the 99-cent super sticker. White Welly BMX is in here as well. And Ken Nichols too. So the first thing that I want to talk about this week is the highlight from the title and thumbnail of the video. And it is 3D printed BMX parts. I had a video come out yesterday. It's this video that's on the screen right now. 3D printing BMX pedals in depth with Zach Gerber. So I visited Zach at his lab, and we put together these pedals right here. And we took a look at them. He described the design process, what inspired him to make a 3D printed design with a grind plate on the bottom, and his own pedal, and how he got into 3D printing and all of that. And we kind of talked about the ethics, I guess you could say, behind 3D printing BMX parts, because there's a lot of people in favor of it, and there's a lot of people who are opposed to it. And the arguments are, you're ruining BMX, you're taking money out of companies' pockets, things of that nature, taking away from bike shops by making parts, and that cuts out the bike shop and all of those things. And Zach talks about that in here, and I wanted to highlight it in the news this week just as like a question on another place where we could ask people what they actually think about 3D printed BMX parts. I, for one, think that it is such an awesome idea, and I think that the industry itself could benefit from 3D printing. The strength of these pedals, specifically like these ones and other 3D printed materials in general, is really, really good. I mean, Zach Gerber, if you've ever seen his riding, you know he's a savage. Like, he is the destroyer of bike parts, as the one video title says. And if he can ride a pedal for any amount of time, longer than, a couple of sessions, that's 3D printed, it's going to hold up for most of the humans of us that are out there. So strength isn't so much of an issue. There are some issues of like how clean things look, but this is also done on a $250 3D printer. There are way more expensive 3D printers out there that could do these things better, and you could take time into sanding these. And the biggest factor that I would say for like the industry side of things is that it would allow for companies to do smaller quantities of something. They take a little bit longer to make each pair, but if you send it out to a 3D printing farm, you can make 10 sets of pedals to try them out, instead of having to, contract a mold, which costs $10,000 to $15,000. You could spend, I don't know how much it would cost to have a 3D printer manufacture, 10, 20 pedal bodies. But I would say it's probably less than $10,000 or $15,000, and then you can try them, see how they work, and if you need to modify the design, you can do that without modifying the mold and having to spend that much more. And I know there's companies who are already utilizing 3D printed stuff for rapid prototyping of like stems and potentially pedals and things of that nature, but to have things that you could actually give to your pro riders, or we talk in the video about like a subscription service that people could do towards companies where they could pay and have access to these files before their pedals are released or before parts are released, to 3D print them. You sign some sort of NDA and sign away the liability of like, it's your responsibility once you print this thing, not the company's, if it breaks, because it's not a final production part that you're buying. And you could test things for yourself, and then you'd be giving feedback to the companies. That's another source of income for them. And with the amount of people who 3D print things, that could be like a genuine avenue for companies to make money. So I think 3D printing definitely has a place in BMX, and any bike shop that would say that, oh, 3D printing is taking money out of the pockets of bike shops could spend $250 to get a 3D printer, take pedal designs like Zach's from his Thingiverse site, and print like their own pedals. They could put, instead of us, them, they could put the bike shop name on the back. They could put the bike shop logo. They could do so much and sell their own pedals, which is awesome. And these have unsealed bearings in them. They're using a pedal spindle that Zach has already ridden, and you've seen Zach riding, so you know that it's kind of bent. But they spin pretty well, and if you figure out a design using sealed bearings and axe pedal spindles from sealed bearing pedals, then they'd be that much better and that much smoother to work with. So I think 3D printing definitely has a place in BMX. I'm curious on other people's thoughts on it. Watch this video. It's almost 50 minutes long, but it goes through the entire process. I mean, we sit at the computer and he talks about the design process, the ads from YouTube, and then we go through, like, he prints the caps and we assemble these entire pedals with the bearings and everything. So like at the computer printing or getting the file for the caps, then taking them to the 3D printer, showing the pedals on the 3D printing bed before the material's taken off of them, then the assembly process of taking off the excess material. And we talk a lot about the ethics and things beyond, or not beyond, things behind 3D printing that have more to do with like the philosophy and ethics of it. So there's a lot to this. There's a bike check with Zach coming, and I look forward to hearing what other people think about 3D printing in the comments down below. And if you have a genuine criticism of how 3D printing could be bad for BMX, put that in there as well. And if you're reasonable about it, we could start a good conversation. So that's all I want to say about 3D printing. Let's move on to the rest of the news. So first up, there is another eFeast video contest that is going to be going on. It might be going on right now, actually. Okay, so video entries are due August 17th, actually, so it's not going on yet. But this is a contest just for kids aged 5 to 16, eFeast Junior, put on by Hot Wheels. It's BMX park, skateboard park, roller park, or scooter park. It's a minute-long video that you've got to create, which is voted on and judged 50-50 between each. And there's a second video. It looks like that if you make it to the finals, you will make another video. And then the finals and fan votes are from the 10th to the 20th of October. So this is not going to be finalized for months at this point. But if you have somebody who's between the ages of 5 and 16, or you are those ages, you can start working on a video, 1-minute video, to get submitted by August 17th to get in. Or does it start 17th? Either way, if you get your video done by the 17th, entries between 17th of August and 31st of August. So there you go. Next up, we got some videos from this week. First, we've got Joe Foley from BSD in a video called Are We Good? That has a lot of burly riding in here, some technical riding as well. Any fan of BMX street riding will enjoy this video, so check it out. The next video is one that I am actually like excited to talk about. This video is raw. There's no other way I could think to describe this video than the word raw. This dude is nuts. I mean, we can start just with the first clip, him pedaling as fast as he can possibly pedal at this gap to wall ride. Insanity. And what I loved about the video is that there were several clips in it where he puts his foot down or hits something or just goes insane after like landing and doesn't fully ride away, but it's just like, whatever, I'm taking it. And I don't know, that attitude is like, I don't care. It was good enough for me, and that is all that matters. I think that's like the essence of BMX, because how many people who are watching right now ride and they land something and they're like, it was good enough for me, I'm satisfied, and I'm moving on from there. I think we all know what that's like, and this video is like a burly version of that. He also does, an X-Up pedal grind. Sick. So definitely check this one out. I think that most people will enjoy it. There are some middle fingers, and at the end, be warned, there's some, like, when he crashes at one point, he shows his butt cheek, and it's not good. So when you see that coming, if you're squirming and you don't want to see that, click away or close your eyes or something. It's pretty gnarly. Next up, we've got Mikey Andrews' F It All section. If you didn't get the F It All video, the sections are starting to go up, and Mikey Andrews' section from it, I believe, is the opening section, which would make sense being the first one that's online. Yeah, it opens the video, and this kid is real good, so check this one out. Street riding. Next up, this one could have went in like the interview section because it's more of a talking video, but it's not an interview. It is a guide to riding BMX in Canberra, which is in Australia. It's done by the guy at Backbone BMX. I forget his name on here, but he goes through like a whole bunch of different spots, and he shows it. Where is it? So that's the guy who's narrating the video, but he shows it on a map, and then he shows videos, and he's talking about the different features of the skate park or whatever it might be, dirt park, and just shows all of these different places to ride local to this area. And it makes it seem like it's definitely a destination for BMX because there is a lot of stuff to ride in this area. It's a 10-minute video, and he doesn't even completely cover like everything. There's street spots and other parks and things in the area that he says he doesn't even get to cover because the video could be way, way, way longer. So if you're in the area or you're planning to go to Australia or somewhere for riding, this is definitely the area to go. There's a ton of stuff to ride. Next up, we've got a video from the Chocolate Truck 2 premiere up on Dig BMX's YouTube channel. This is somebody holding a camera and asking questions of all of the people involved, and it's a lot of talking, but it's a pretty cool like documentation of a moment in BMX history for these guys in the, I think it's like New York, New Jersey area. Oh, Philadelphia area. And they're just talking about the video and the process and how long it had been worked on and how old clips are, and just a lot of different aspects, life aspects, because some of the people in this video were like, the one guy makes a comment, I literally couldn't even grow a beard when we started filming for this. So if you're into Chocolate Truck and you want to see some insight or behind the scenes from the premiere, this is one to check out. Next up, we've got Fracture by Felix Prangenberg. For anyone who wants a longer video this week, it is 35 minutes long. It's a video with that Felix Prangenberg made. And let's see if there's a list of riders. Any riders in here? Jordan Goodwin's in here, but it doesn't look like it says any of the other riders' names. I didn't get a chance to fully go through this or watch any of it, to be honest. But look at that thumbnail, and Felix Prangenberg is a pro BMX rider at the highest level, so he knows what he's doing, and he's not going to put garbage together. So definitely check this one out if you want a longer video. And now we get to a product related thing from this week. The new Odyssey Super Circuit tire in this promo video. It's just 1.5 minutes long, but it's extremely well done and shows all the different aspects of the tire, facts about it, details, specs, everything you could need to know about it is in this video. And there's a lot of riding, and just look at that. I don't know if that's like a video with a macro lens or a CGI like 3D model of this tire and rim, but if you want to know more about the Super Circuit, that is where you check. So next up, we've got something that I thought I would throw in here because we don't normally talk about photo related things, but these are 10 photos of Sergio Leos that you really need to see. And we don't normally talk about photo related things because, one, I don't think about it, and two, there's not like main featured BMX news type deal things to do with photos that go out that often. But there's an interview on here, and then you've got a slideshow with all of these different pictures. Sergio Leos is the epitome of BMX style. So if you want to see these pictures, they are linked in the description below, as well as everything else I've talked about and the rest of what I'll talk about in the order that I talk about it. Next up, we've got a bike check with Casey Hallahan talking about her Misfit 16. Casey Hallahan is the youngest Hallahan, and she's growing up, starting to ride and catch some air, and going to be doing tricks soon, no doubt. And listening to her talk about this bike might get your kid who would fit a 16-inch bike stoked on the Misfit 16. Next up, Chris Kyle in an upload to his YouTube channel. Subscribe to Chris Kyle's YouTube channel if you haven't yet. And it's a dream build, him building a new bike, as well as a tour of the BSD warehouse. Looks like there's some riding in here as well. I just had a chance to click through it a bit. But Chris has a great on-camera presence, talking and all of those things. So I think that you will enjoy if you are a fan of his. Next up, something for the more core folks out there. We've got Perspective. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 re-uploaded to the Diggest. I don't remember. I must not have been paying attention when these were originally uploaded, but they were released in 2013 with Edwin De La Rosa, Mike Aiken. What does BSD mean? I don't know. Joe Rich. The three, these dudes are freaking gods in BMX. Oh, we're getting to the trail jam. Don't worry, it's right here. But let's see here. So the description with this says, in a world with more and more web videos, the Diggest wants to make a break to create something a little bit different and to focus more on the creative process and the people around bicycle. Interesting. Another Perspective is a timeless video series which tries to present with style who had and who will change the two wheels world. We are proud to introduce this Perspective 001 with the one and only Edwin De La Rosa. More than one of the most talented rider of countless generations. I think this was translated, but it says Edwin is an awesome photographer with a unique way of life. Interesting. New York City Street, discover an original portrait of Edwin in his 10 minutes documentary. So check these out if you want a more different and artistic look into Edwin, Mike Aiken, and Joe Rich. I didn't get a chance to watch more than just clicking through and seeing what they were all about, but I'm excited to actually watch these because this is the kind of stuff that I get stoked about. The more in-depth, more than just the riding. And we've seen more of that since 2013. It's been, is that 9 years? Holy hell. It's been 9 years since then, and a lot has come out since then, and we see more than just the riding from a lot of people. So I'm excited to see this look at people who aren't, they were the superheroes of BMX at the time, and they are still gods in BMX, but they don't ride as much as they did 9 years ago, 10 years ago, when they were at the peak of their riding. But that being said, I'm going to give a shout out to El Salvador, Mauricio Mancia. Thank you for joining. Next up, Apple Creek Trail Jam. July 10th, noon to dark. Apple Creek Trails hosting this jam this Sunday. It's also actually on my birthday. I haven't put that out there a ton, but we're throwing a big jam on my birthday. There's going to be food, and the only charge for the food is just a post on social media about it, I guess. That's what I was told by Branch Barbecue Sauce. So to get your, I think it's pulled pork. They're making pork and sides, barbecue sauce company. There's also hoist to drink for everybody. There's prizes from Shadow Riding Gear, Haro, and Premium, as well as cash for radness from First Call Environmental. Hopefully we can see some of you out there. If you need directions or anything like that, send me a message on Instagram and I will give them to you. And if you do come out, make sure you come and say hi, and hopefully we'll see a lot of people there. I'm stoked. I am super, super stoked. You'll call me about what tonight, Jeff? And that being said, that's all we got this week. Come to the Trail Jam. Let me know what you think about 3D printed BMX parts, and we'll see you tomorrow. Actually, we won't fully see you tomorrow, but Zach's video bike check will be going up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that, and we will see you there, and hopefully we'll see you Sunday at the Trail Jam. Thanks for tuning in, everybody in the chat, and all of the members, and everyone who supports the channel directly and lets me do this on Friday mornings instead of being at a job and working. This is my job, and I love it. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.